Alright, you want to know how to achieve this effect, which is pretty simple overall. Let's just start from scratch and you can follow along. It is very simple. If you're here on Figma and you want to create your thing, you have your get the app text inside of, obviously, and also the frame. I think I did 1624, 1632, 40, I don't know, whatever. We don't really give a shit about that. This gonna have a pure black background, and I think I did 100%, whatever. This will be our button. That's simple. And then in order to get the glow around it, we need a secondary layer behind it. What I'm doing is I'm just gonna take the same width and I'm just checking the height. This is 61, so get something at 61 as well, and just make sure that both of them are really aligned with each other, making sure that these thing are behind, and let's add the 48 underneath. And then that rectangle one is gonna have a stroke that is pure white, that's gonna be somewhere around the center alignment. And instead of being like at 1, I think I did something around 12 for the glow effect. This thing, instead of having a regular solid color, we're going to use a gradient, and that gradient is going to be an angular gradient. I usually just make that fully circular because that's way easier. And then you get 2 transparent values, and you make sure that these are like close to each other in the center of the ring, and you're done. that's basically it. You have this, and you can select both of your elements, create a component out of this, and then from here you create the variations that you want to have. You don't really need to name the variations or anything. One thing that I would say is if you have your button locked, that will be easier then in the other step to make sure that it is, how can I say, not in the way. And here what I will do is make sure that my rectangle one has its stroke specifically has the right angle. I'm going to take it at 45 degrees, and that will be my point number 1. And then I'm duplicating it, so I'm duplicating the variant and doing the same thing again. This thing is going to be selected, and then that is going to be at 45 down, and then same thing again, duplicating that variant, making sure that my stroke is at 45 the other way, and then one last, which will be the last point of the animation, somewhere around here. And then the last change is going to be to make sure that the initial glow is not in the way. Right now my camera is in the way. 1 second. Ah, bitch. This is going to be at 0, and then one thing to make sure that it's like better, I try to make it smaller inside just for the animation. And here what I'm doing is making sure that on hover, mouse, enter, you get the transition in Smart Animate. I usually do 420 for all of my transitions. That's a personal thing. And then same thing here. Here we have, instead of on click, you have after a delay of 0, you have your transition that is supposed to be 420 for the sides. And then from here to the other side, it's double the amount of time. After a delay of 0, once again, we have an 840 millisecond transition. Same thing here with a 420. After a delay of 0, we have 420 right there. And then the last one being from here to the initial points, we get same thing after a delay of 0. We get an 840 transition. And from here you could say this is good, this would work, like technically it is. good enough. Can I center that thing? No, I can't. Cool. Let's just align that to the center of the page and make sure that our background is like something that is visible. My bad. And technically this, for now, should, right, follow through. And right now when I'm getting out, it's not really getting out. You need to fix that. And in order to fix this, it's very simple. From here in the prototype, you have a secondary animation or transition, which is while mouse leave. It's just an ease out. I'm going to do 420 for transitions. And then the same thing here, mouse leave, same 3 times. And now, if you leave, it goes back into the initial state. Then from there, the only thing that you need to do is take your button rectangle 1 across the entirety of your prototype, and then add an effect of layer blur right there. And that layer blur, I usually do something a bit more bigger. Get rid of the fill. And now you have your animation. You just need to tweak the transition in between each of the steps, but technically that's how it's made.